The girl that he's up here with right now is my best friend. I'd be at her house, like, talking about him. She'd go on and go on about, you sure you want to be with him? And now they're engaged.
She is a liar. She's pretty much upset that I broke up with her, and that's why we're here today.
We worked together.
Yes, and you told him my fiance's having trouble with her car.
He ended up releasing the transmission fluid instead of the oil fluid. If you see that you're doing damage like this...
That could be a curtain string to me. I don't know what any of this stuff is.
Plaintiff Candace Kent claims her ex used her like an ATM, and when money got tight, he dumped her for her best friend. Defendant Anthony Oliver says the plaintiff is a jealous hater who's just bitter about being dumped. He says he owes her nothing.
True?
Yes.
It's case number 240 on the docket, Kent versus Oliver.
Welcome to you all here. We have the plaintiff, Ms. Kent.
Yes.
And you are suing your ex-boyfriend for $990 for money loaned while you were in a relationship with him.
Yes. Me and Anthony were friends for a while. We ended up getting together because we had the same mutual respect for each other. It was just amazing. And the girl that he's up here with right now is my best friend. We spent
woman,
every day
yeah.
together, who is also engaged to one of his family members. And most of our fights that we got into, I'd be at her house, like, talking about him. She'd go on and go on about, you sure you want to be with him? I would send him a message, getting upset with him. Like, she put in my head, like, okay, where is he? It's 10, 11 o'clock at night. Where is he all the time? So I'd argue with him, and she'd basically be a shoulder to cry on. And now they're engaged.
Life happens, man.
Yeah, and what would you, yeah, it's not a crime.
We used to go to Six Flags, take our kids to Six Flags. So we ended up getting a Six Flags membership together. We were both supposed to pay half and half. This is proof of our payments, of our Six Flags payments together. This is me messaging him, asking him for the money, basically him laughing at me. More
Okay,
messages.
all right, let me just get these things in order here.
Yes.
You two, how long were you two together?
6 months.
These children here are yours independently?
Yes.
Right, okay.
From
So-
previous relationships.
Okay, from previous relationships, you're together for 6 months, and during this relationships, these are activities that you did together.
Yes.
But you're saying that these activities, which you're now giving me evidence of, that there was an agreement that what was spent on these items would be split?
This was 50-50 because either we both wanted Six Flags memberships, but we were both limited to how much money we could spend a month.
Oh,
we were
okay.
both on budget income.
Yes.
So I could afford my $17 a month. He could afford his, he said. Not 1 month did he ever pay.
Okay.
So
this was an item where you really did discuss ahead of time
Yes.
who would pay for it. Okay, that makes it a little different than normal.
Yes, because there's no way I couldn't come up with both the $30-something a month. It was out of my budget.
Got it.
These
I'm
are
gonna
the
give you a chance
incomes
later.
where I was basically asking him for the money and begging him basically because I had to get diapers. His part was not in my budget, and we were split up, and I was still paying it, even after we split up. And he said, I don't GA. Basically, I don't give a care that you're paying my bills, even after we split up.
Now, while you were together, he was never paying half of it.
No.
So what were you doing about getting him to pay while you were together?
Ask him, and he'd be like, well, I don't have a job right now. I'm trying. I'm putting in applications. And he never put in applications.
Okay.
Either that or he just, I guess, somehow never got a job.
And here are the texts
In
saying...
the one message where I'm begging him for $17 to pay his half so I can afford diapers for my child, he sent me a laughing emoji.
Oh, here's your IDGA. That's a strange way to spell care. I don't care, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so obviously you're saying pay, and he's not, and you're getting upset. Okay, and now what?
We traded vehicles for a week because he was using my truck and I was using his car. Well, I did not know that his car was not insured. I found out that his car was not insured, so, I asked him for proof of insurance. He did not have it. So I gave him a picture of my Visa card so that he can get insurance on his car for the month. And I'm sorry, he does not drive a Porsche. $291.39 came out of my bank account for insurance for that car for that month.
So what Yeah, what is your side of the story?
All right, pretty much, I just want to say she is a liar. She's pretty much upset that I broke up with her, and that's why I'm here today. Pretty much a woman scorn, man. Like you said, when you're in a relationship,
Because you're such a
you just
catch.
do things.
Okay.
You just do things for each other, you know. And apparently, I was such a catch that she was paying everything, and you know, I didn't. All of that is baloney, pretty much. One day, I was going to hang out with a buddy. We got into an argument because I was gonna go hang out. I left for a couple hours. I come back, my tire slashed. The next day, she bought me a tire. You understand? The insurance thing, a job that I had, it was like direct deposit, blah, blah, blah. My account with my bank account got messed up. So I asked her, because she wanted to switch cars, like she said. When we switched cars, well, before we switched cars, I let her know I don't have insurance on it. You know, I still have to pay it, but I don't have a debit card. So she allowed me to pay it with her debit card, and I paid her back in cash. Okay, she wanted someone to move in with us to help us pay bills even further because she was the one without the income. And she felt bad that I was taking on all the responsibilities. So she wanted somebody else to move in and help. I had family members of mine move in with us, which she thought was a great idea, blah, blah, blah. They need somewhere to stay. We set them a certain amount for rent, which she doubled pretty much on them for food consumption when my family members get government assistance for food because they were homeless, you know, prior to moving in with us. And they took care of babysitting for me and her. So this babysitting thing is also baloney because she wasn't responsible for my son if I left.
No, he was 3 months behind on his electric, having trouble paying his electric bill. He was getting ready to, he had no income, he had no job. His family members did work, so that's why they moved in with us. And I do have it, before we got together for 4 years, I've never once been late on a bill. That was not the issue. Yes, I did want more income to help me because I was a single mom, I did. But he was not working. His family member even came to me several times saying, I'm paying all of his stuff, I'm paying his electric, I'm trying to pay rent, I'm trying to pay everything else.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's not important. I'm saying it, right now, it doesn't go to the particular issue that I have to decide on this case. This is obviously a romantic relationship that went south. I get it. What do you have to lend to the case? And I'll tell you
Your
name.
Honor, Candace is correct. She and I were friends for about 9 months prior to them splitting up.
Yes.
During the time that they were together, Candace told me that she was behind on her mortgage.
Yes.
She was behind on her electric.
Yeah.
And when Anthony moved in with her, he paid it. He paid her bills. He got her caught up. And he did repairs the entire time he lived with her on her home. That's in her name. It's
Because
not
I'm a
in,
contractor, I do carpentry and things like that,
you know,
of that
it's
nature.
not-
I fixed the basement up before my family members moved into it. I fixed the basement up. I cleaned her basement and her garage a couple times because she's sort of a hoarder.
Okay.
And she gets all of this stuff and it's like, oh, I'm gonna sell it.
Okay, you're not together anymore. I get that. And I do believe that when you were together, he did some things and you did some things to help out. This is what happens when relationships. It doesn't even matter for this case what caused the relationship to break up.
The only thing I feel like I owe Candace for is a $10 medication that she bought from CVS, which I agreed to pay her that. And you know what? I have.
He couldn't even pay $10. He couldn't even pay $10.
You can have $10.
He couldn't even pay $10 for
You're
medicine.
not throwing anything at the plaintiff.
You got your
paid it.
$10.
It's
You
right
got
there.
your $10.
All right. I think the agreement when you were both together to split the cost of the Six Flags membership, for whatever reason you guys agreed to do it, you did agree to do it. So her wanting to get back $200 for the Six Flags is fair. And
I paid some of
also
that.
believe
She's lying about me never paying not one
sir,
month.
the
All
judge is
right,
speaking.
unless I have evidence that you paid her back, I can't go on it. I need evidence.
I understand.
I'm awarding you $200 for the Six Flags passes, as well as for the car insurance, for a total of $490.
To remain at the stand. Ma'am, to remain at the stand.
The $10 that he paid me today, I'm happy that in 6 months, he can finally come up with $10.
That $10 is about all she deserved. Other than that, she lied about everything.
And she made herself look like a complete idiot.
The plaintiff, Steve Redmond, says he got a lube job when he went to a friend for new brakes. He's suing for $990. The defendant claims he was just trying to help a friend.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Hey,
Case
G.
number 36 on the docket, Redmond versus Dunham.
We have the plaintiff, Mr. Redmond,
Correct.
and you are suing the defendants, Mr. and Mrs. Dunham.
Correct.
And you're suing him in the amount of $990 for car damages.
That is correct.
Why don't you tell me your side of the story here?
This was my former boss, was a very good friend of mine as well. I'm suing him today for $990
Why?
for car damages, some serious car damage, in fact.
Your car.
My fiance's car, 2010 Rogue.
Okay.
Yes.
So but the car is in you may stand up, and you are?
Victoria Porter.
And you are the fiance.
Correct.
Okay, and you own this car that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so how are you in this story now? Why are you suing?
When I had come into work, Bob had volunteered to work on my vehicle.
You told him that...
We worked together.
Yes, and you
at the
told
time
him my fiance's having trouble with her car.
with the brakes and to get an oil change. That's what we were going to get. But what I told him was, let me go ahead and get an estimate and speak with her first before having him work on the vehicle.
Okay.
Next day, I come into work, told him, hey man, I'm looking at, $600-800 to get all this work done. What he told me was, hey, I do work on my vehicle, fix my brakes. I've done my wife's as well. So ended up, he gave me his address, the information, brought it over there that Saturday. She said it was okay. He ended up releasing the transmission fluid instead of the oil fluid. So the car, it would bag up because he was on a hill, but we couldn't get it to move anywhere. We had to either gas it real hard or give it just a little push. Also, I was unable to drive it because the brake line on the driver's side, it was just leaking fluid. Come to find out, it was the wrong brake line. And when I found out all the damage that was done from the auto repair shop, I mean, it was unbelievable. I asked
Before
him,
you filed the lawsuit, what
Right.
did you say to him then?
what I asked him was, I said, look, make a payment, help me out here, or pay half. Well, he decided to pretty much just tell me, you know what, go yourself, with no Vaseline. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. I mean,
Wait,
you
was
this serious?
Vaseline for the car, or am I...
I mean, that's how he did me, though, Jan. Hey, look.
What? Okay. What's your side of this story here?
Again, thanks, Jerry, for allowing us to be here with Judge Jerry.
Sure.
And to defend myself. And his story is missing some accuracies that need to be
Sure.
expressed here, all right? We did the work together on the vehicle, all right? That's principle number one. He did express to me, while we did share an office together, that his girlfriend's car needed a brake job and it needed new rotors. Okay, that was the specifics of the job.
Brake job and rotors.
And rotors. And I told him, in my experience working on my own vehicles and my wife's vehicle, I've done that before. And if I could help you do it, I'll help you do it and save you some money. And he, as he pointed out, called around and got some estimates at repair shops in that $800 ballpark. And he came back to me and said, wow, I got $800 quotes. I'm like, well, you could probably get the parts for about $200 and we can do the job in my garage if you'd like. I'm willing to help you out if you want. And he said, well, if you're willing to do that, I guess let's do it. As far as the vehicle goes, the transmission fluid and the oil fluid, this is the first I'm ever hearing of this issue.
Jan, I
all
have
right?
that
I know
evidence
the
right
difference
here.
between an oil change and a transmission change, all right?
Yeah.
And this is the first time this was ever brought up. To Mr. Redmond's point about the car not moving forward, let me explain what that issue is. The ABS brakes will not allow a car to move forward if they are damaged. You have to take the fuse off in order to bypass that ABS brake system. In the process, and I explained this to Mr. Redmond before we even did the job, that the
all this is
difficult job
explained.
in taking off of a rotor We may have to heat up the bolts with a torch to break that bolt, to get it off. The first wheel we did together, and again, he was there side by side, hand in hand, because he wanted to learn how to do it. The subsequent wheels, he did himself with me. Mr. Redmond knows I'm not a certified mechanic. He's known me long enough to know that I don't practice in a garage someplace on my downside. When he came to my house, it doesn't have a big sign that says, Bob's Auto Repair Shop, we guarantee our work.
Okay, what I'm hearing so far is that you needed help with her car, and it's mentioned, like guys talk at work, hey, maybe I could help you out with that. So your friend volunteered to help you out. And you went over there, you two were kind of working together, talking about it. You weren't fighting when this was going on.
Look at these brake lines. If you see that you're doing damage like this, you just, wait, let me stop. Let me stop. I shouldn't be doing this.
That could be a curtain string to me. I don't know what any of this stuff is.
I have it all right here. All he had to do was do the brakes. If you didn't have the right tools or whatever the case was, just say, hey, Steve, you know what? I'll just do the oil change for you. And, as far as this brake job goes, because of these lug nuts, whatever the case was, then...
How do you respond to what he just said?
The lug nuts, I can tell you from the very get-go, was brought up ahead of time that because we had to borrow the torch from my father to do the brake job on my vehicle that Bob did. And that was the hardest part of the whole job. So this was explained to Steve at the office that we have to heat up the lug nuts. That's the way to get them off.
Okay.
Your Honor, again, I feel bad about this. I'm sorry for what happened in the end. I lost a friend. I lost a good coworker that worked with me.
And we'll never help anyone again.
Yeah, and it really makes me question my judgment on how much I want to volunteer to help anybody in the future if this is going to be the outcome of what that help might exist from.
Okay, so what I'm getting from this, when you make a judgment to go to a non-professional, just some friend, to help you out, and we've all been there, hey, can you fix this, can you fix that? You take the risk. The good news is it's a hell of a lot cheaper. The bad news is they're not professionals.
Yeah.
So something could get screwed up. By his work, you're going to wind up spending $900 instead of $800. I'm going to fine for you for $100, not a penny more, because it didn't work what he did, but he certainly wasn't being either negligent or evil or whatever. He's never said that he was an expert in this. You made a decision, rather than going to a professional, you decided to go to someone you never met. You trusted your fiance, but you never met. He makes an excellent point. He doesn't have to pay, you guys came into his life on this issue. He didn't ask for it. So I fine for the plaintiff $100.
Thank you.
I really thought, there was negligence done. And if you don't feel as though, you know what you're doing, and especially when you see something burning, I mean, this is ridiculous. And to keep going, to do more damage to it, nah.
It was probably the fairest decision that he could make for both parties. I wasn't malice or intending to do that much damage or any damage at all. Mr. Redmond came to me, I offered to help. I helped based on what my knowledge was, and that's that.
Thanks for watching. Now please approach the bench. The way I look at it, you have two options here. Option A, watch more Judge Jerry. Option B, watch more Jerry Springer. The choice is yours. Now get out of my courtroom. You have more clips to watch. And don't forget to subscribe.